economic performance. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, they really rely heavily on that inflow of money to maintain their power. So where did this all begin? Well, to be honest, it began with Trump. President Trump's objective in launching the trade war with China was very, very simple. Basically, reverse the flow of American manufacturers' relocation to China and bringing their manufacturing jobs back to this country, back to America. And ultimately, Trump's trade policies, they were intended to reroute established global supply chains out of China altogether. So the thinking was that as the trade war progressed, the loss of economic activity would exert significant pressure on the economy, and of course, by extension, it would undercut the CCP's legitimacy as the sole ruling authority in China. President Trump was hoping that this would free up the Chinese people from the weight of the communist regime. Of course, it was all part of America's interests financially, but at the end of the day, President Trump, I think, knows what the Chinese people are going through. And he was probably hoping that the trade war could create some courage, perhaps, for them to kind of rise up. And what we would predict that you would see is higher levels of internal dissent, and that would hopefully weaken the regime's grip on the country and perhaps inhibit its expansionist appetites. Now, we haven't quite got there yet. Well, we'll get to all that in a minute, but we can say things are going from bad to worse. Why? Because President Trump's steep tariffs against China, they were harsh and inflicted a sharp decline in economic activity in 2019. That's what we saw. And by some estimates, well, some say it cost China $53 billion in lost trade revenues in 2019 alone. And don't forget Hong Kong. You know, the Hong Kong protesters, they were pushing back very hard against Chinese Communist Party rule, and financially, the